Hi, welcome to the Element video for making absolute effects. An absolute effect is the ability to determine an endpoint or endpoint of travel for a moving light, or even a conventional for that matter, but we'll talk about that at another time. In this case, we're going to use color, and we're going to define what those endpoints are and tell the fixtures to go from one point to the next to the next. In this case, we're going to use 3 color palettes: red, blue, and green. Red, green, and blue. I have the fixtures selected already, as you can see, and in a visualizer, we just watch them pop from color to color. So we'll go back to Open White, and we're going to create a new effect. So from an empty command line, we go Effect, Effect. In this case, we have Effect 1. We're going to create a new Effect 2. We're going to define the type as an absolute effect. This is going to be a 3-part or 3-action effect. So we select S1, 1 through 3, enter, and we've created our 3 steps, 3 actions. Use the arrow key to arrow up and to the right to level. The level is what defines the endpoint, or the point that we want the fixtures to go to. In this case, we want to use a color palette, and the way we get there is by going to the moving light controls. We use the moving light control button, and then our mouse to go color palette 2, arrow down, moving light control, color palette 3, arrow down, moving light control, and arrow 4. So we've now created our effect, in this case effect 2. Come back to live, select our channels. They're on at full and they're pointed at the edge of the stage, and we go effect 2, enter, and you'll notice both up here in the table view we can see that effect 2 is running and the hue and saturation values, and then our color picker we can see the lights going in a merry-go-round from red, green to blue, and you can also see on the visualizer the lights chasing from one color to the next across the stage. There are a couple of different ways we can manipulate these, but before we start editing, let's talk about how to stop the effect. We simply, with the channel selected, we select Effect with no number and enter, and the effects will stop. In this case, we started with them in white, and so they go back to that location. If we pick a random color, and we're going to start Effect 2 again, and they'll start running. We go Effect, enter, they go back to the place that they started from. So now, if we want to make some changes to those effects, let's go back to white and start Effect 2 again, and we'll let them start moving. We have a couple of different ways or places that we can make changes to the effect. We'll do this in 2 different steps. We'll come into the effect itself, and we'll make some changes here. We have the ability, without manipulating this section, but coming over here to these buttons, to make changes to what the effect is running by going grouping. In this case, the grouping of spread. If we go grouping of 1, you'll notice the effects, the colors will all start changing together on all of the fixtures. Grouping of 2, we'll select every other fixture, and 3 and 4 and so on down the line. We can also select the attributes. In this case, we're moving forward. We can select reverse, and now the colors will run in the opposite direction. And we'll put those back to forward. That put us into blind mode. We'll come back to live. We'll select effect. Now we're into editing the effect in a live fashion. We can also come down to, from this view, we can come down to S5 for status, and this is looking at the effect from a Q level. So there's a slight difference between editing here, which is the effect itself, or editing this view, which is the effect status. The effect can be applied to to any number of cues you may want, and you have the ability to make changes to the rate, which will only be applied to the individual cue, which gives you the ability to use the same effect, but at different speeds than in different cues. The way we change the rate is by hitting S1, and in this case we want to go 25% of that speed. We hit 25 and enter, and on our visualizer you'll see that the lights are moving at a much slower rate. Since 100 is full, or the level that we recorded the effect at, we have the ability to go beyond 100. So we can go up to 500, which is 5 times faster. And you'll see that the lights are now moving rather quickly. So we're going to return back to our level of 100. And with the effect running, if we do a record, just a standard cue record, and we'll go to cue, in this case we just have some cues in the show already, so we'll record cue 16, you'll notice that we get an external link to effect 2. So now when we play effect cue 16, effect 2 will trigger, which will be doing the actions that we just defined for it. So we'll select 101 through 106, we'll select our channels, we'll do effect no number and enter, which will stop the effect and put us back to where we were. So that's a quick look at absolute effects and how to work with them. Thank you.